Let us now discuss the fifth module from this topic of percentages, where we learn how to find that a given value is what percentage more or less than some other value. Let's look at the concept here. X is what percent more or less than Y, and it is given as x minus y by y into 100. So wherever we have a question in this format which says x is what percentage more than y, or x is what percent less than y, or sometimes it is generally given as x is what percentage more or less than y, right? We'll have to find out how much percentage more or what percentage less. So simple formula here is x minus y by y into 100, right? To give you an example, let's say profit in 2015 is what percentage more or less than profit in 2014, right? Generally these type of questions are asked in data interpretation, right? And obviously the profits will be given to you either in the table or the graphs there. So profit in 2015 is what percent more or less than profit in 2014. So x is the profit of 15 and y is the profit of the year 14. What do? Profit in 2015 minus the profit of 2014 divided by profit of 2014 into 100. So basically the numerator is the difference of the two values, x minus y, profit of 2015 minus profit of 2014 divided by profit of 2014 into 100. Just simplify this and you get the required answer. Remember that the answer can be positive or negative, right? It all depends on the difference here. If the profit in 2015 is more than that in 2014, we'll get a positive answer. If it is less, then we'll get a negative answer. So simply, whenever we get a negative answer here, we can understand that x is some percentage less than y. Let's say the calculation here is minus 20%. It indicates x is 20% less than y. And if it is plus 20%, it means x is 20% more than y. So based on the sign there, we can decide whether x is more or less than y. Now an important point to be noted here is that in the denominator, we should always take y. Understand, x is what percentage more or less than y. We are comparing with y. So that is the reason the denominator should always have y here. So simply difference by y into 100. Difference divided by y into 100, right? So like we have seen in the previous model there. Model 4, we have looked at x is what percent of y, or what percent of y is x, what percent is x of y. In all these three cases, we take y in the denominator. And our simple understanding was whatever comes after of, whatever is followed by of, that goes in the denominator. Similarly, whatever is followed by than, that goes in the denominator here. Right? For example, population of country A is what percentage more than population of country B, than population of country B. So country B's population should go in the denominator there. So that's about the concept of model 5. Let us now look at a few examples based on this concept. Let us now take the first example from model 5. If A's salary is 25% more than B's salary, then by what percent is B's salary less than A's salary? Now this is a very popular question, especially in bank exams, right? So how do we solve it? It says A is 25% more than B. Then by what percent is B less than A? We have just discussed this concept, right? X is what percentage more or less than Y. So here B is what percentage less than A, right? So we can apply the formula B minus A by A into 100, right? Now before we actually solve it, one important point to be noted here is, since A is 25% more than B, it does not mean that B is 25% less than A. Many students commit this mistake, right? They say if A is 25% more than B, then B has to be 25% less. Understand, when it comes to percentages, it is not true. See, if A is, let's say, 30 rupees more than B, then B will be 30 rupees less than A. Absolute values, it will always satisfy. But percentage values will not satisfy this point here, right? If A is 25% more than B, does not mean that B is 25% less than A. It will be something else. So let's understand how to solve this question, right? Point to be noted is 25% less is not the answer. So what do? A is 25% more than B. Let us assume that B is equal to 100. B's salary is 100 rupees. It is not given, we are just assuming that B is 100. The question says A is 25% more than B. So A can be taken as B plus 25% of B, right? We have discussed how to increase or decrease with respect to a particular value and given percentage. A is 25% more than B. So B plus 25% of B. How much is B? 100. 25% of B, 25. Right? 25% of 100 is 25. 100 plus 25, 125. So now we know that A is equal to 125. If B is 100, then A will be 125. So if you look at these two values, it satisfies the given criteria, right? It says A should be 25% more. Yes, 125 is 25% more than 100. But the question says, by what percentage is B less than A? By what percentage is B less than A? Now, based on the concept that we have discussed, how do we solve this? B minus A by A into 100. Remember, we are comparing with A, less than A. So the denominator should have A. Numerator will be the difference, denominator should have A. Let us substitute the values. So B minus A, 100 minus 125 upon A. What is A here? 125 into 100. Now 100 minus 125 is minus 25. Minus 25 by 125. So this is 1 by 5. Actually minus 1 by 5 into 100. Why are we getting a negative sign here? Why do we get a minus sign? Because B is less than A, right? So answer has to be negative, right? So no need to worry when you get a negative answer here. It only indicates that B is less than A. B is some percentage less than A. Now 1 by 5 from our knowledge in speed maths, we know that 1 by 5 is 20 percentage in terms of percentage. So your answer here will be minus 20 percentage, or we can say B is 20 percentage less than A. So that's how you can solve this question using the regular method, where we assume that B is equal to 100, accordingly calculate A and then take the change of A with respect to B or B with respect to A. Now you may get a question here, why did we take B as 100? How do we know that B is 100? Well, we have no idea about what B is. We are assuming that B is 100. You can assume any value. You can take 200, 150, 98, 95, whatever you want. Accordingly calculate the value of A. Final answer will always come out to be 20%, right? The only advantage of taking B as 100 is calculation becomes easier, right? If B is 100, A will be 125, 25%. And then you can simplify it very quickly, right? So that's the regular way of solving the question, the traditional method, where we have assumed B as 100. But then there's another way in which, without assuming any value for B, we can simplify the question there. We can solve the question. So let's look at the second method of solving this question, right? A smart way of answering this question. What do? The question says A is 25% more than B, right? So we can say A is equal to, like we have discussed here, B plus 25% of B. But instead of 25%, I will take it as fraction. Now in the second method, we will be using fractions in place of percentages. So A will be B plus 25% of B. We can take it as B plus 1/4 of B. So 25% is 1/4 of B. Now what is B plus 1/4 of B? 1/4 of B? 5B by 4 or 5 by 4B, right? So which means A is equal to 5 by 4B, right? 1 plus 1 by 4 gives you 5 by 4. So A is 5 by 4B. 5 by 4, if you convert to percentages, you will get 125%, which is what is given in the question there. A is 25% more. So obviously A will be 125% of B. Yes or no? A is 25% more than B does not mean that A is equal to 25% of B. It means A is 125% of B, which is 5 by 4B. Now if A is 5 by 4B, it is obvious that B is equal to 4 by 5A. Just take it to the other side. So B will be equal to 4A by 5 or 4 by 5A. Let us convert this fraction into percentage. We all know that 4 by 5 is 80% from our knowledge of percentages and its equivalent fractions. 4 by 5 is 80%. So we can conclude that B is 80% of A. B is 80% of A. Look at it. B is only 80% of A. So how much less than A? 20% less than A. Yes or no? 80% of A can be split as 100% of A minus 20% of A. Right? We can take it as A minus 20% of A. A itself is 100% of A, right? So 100% of A minus 20% of A. So which means it is 20% less. That's what we have got here, right? Minus 20%. So we can conclude that B is 20% less than A. So this is the method where, without assuming any value for B, we can solve the given question here. Just you need to convert the percentages to fractions. So we are using this conversion of percentages to fractions to solve this. So 5 by 4B, which becomes 4 by 5A. 4 by 5 is only 80%. Let's say we get only 95%. B is only 95%. 95% of A means it is 5% less than A. So your answer will be 5% less. Very, very easy to follow this. But then we have another method which is much easier than what we have done in the second method here. We have already discussed two. Both are correct, right? You can follow whichever is convenient for you. But then there is a third method which takes less than 5 seconds for you to arrive at the answer. We need not put pen on paper at all, right? Without doing any paperwork, you can simplify the given question there. You can solve the given question. So let's see how do we do this. Now this is basically a technique, a kind of trick that you need to follow for answering such questions. See what to do. Look at the question. A's salary is 25% more than B's salary. A's salary is 25% more than B's salary. So let's take this 25%, the given value there, 25%. How much is this in terms of fractions? 1 by 4. 25% more. 25% is 1 by 4. Now look at the actual question. By what percent is B's salary less than A's salary, right? Focus on this term now, right? We have to find out by what percentage is B's salary less than A's salary. Some percentage is given, we have converted to fraction. Now we are looking for another percentage, and that percentage will indicate by what percentage is B less than A. Less than A. Basically, we have to reduce this fraction. Less, right? Reduce this fraction, right? Already we have fraction, reduce that. We are looking for lesser value. Now, how do you reduce a fraction? There are multiple ways of doing it. To reduce a fraction, you can either reduce the numerator. So when you reduce the numerator, the fraction value decreases, right? Fraction reduces. Or you can increase the denominator, the fraction decreases. Or you can do both. Reduce the numerator and also increase the denominator. Fraction will decrease. But then, while answering such questions, remember, we'll only work on the denominator. We'll never work on numerator. We should only work on the denominator. Now I have to reduce this fraction. I'll only do something to the denominator to reduce it. I'll not touch the numerator. We should not touch the numerator. So the only choice we have is to increase the denominator. See, my requirement is to reduce the fraction. I want a lesser value. So I'll increase the denominator. We'll increase the denominator. Now the question that arises is, by how much will you increase it? 1 by 4 will become, see, numerator will remain as it is. We will not touch the numerator. So 1 remains 1. Increase the denominator. So 4 plus something. What is that something? That something is nothing but the value given in the numerator. What is the numerator here? 1. So increase by 1. If the numerator is 2, increase by 2. If the numerator is 3, increase by 3. Whatever is the value in the numerator, increase the denominator by the same value. So 1 by 4 becomes 1 by 4 plus 1, which is nothing but 1 by 5. 1 by 5 is what in terms of percentage is 20%. We know this. 1/5 is 20%. So your answer for this question should be 20%. B is 20% less than A. Very simple. Need not put pen on paper at all. 25% 1 by 4. I want less. I will reduce the fraction. I will only work on the denominator. So to reduce the fraction, I should increase the denominator. By how much will I increase the denominator? By the value given in the numerator. So 1 by 4 becomes 1 by 4 plus 1, 1 by 5. 1 by 5 is 20%. And similarly, let's say the question is the other way. A is 25% less than B. So by what percentage is B more than A? Right? Opposite of what is given here. A is 25% less than B. And then by what percentage is B more than A? Same process. Whatever we have done here, same thing to be followed. It is just that operation will get reversed. 25% 1 by 4. All good so far. By what percentage is B more than A? I want something more. So I have to increase this fraction. Now I've already told you, always work on the denominator. Whether you have to increase or decrease, always work on the denominator. If you have to increase the fraction, the denominator should be reduced. When you reduce the denominator, the value increases. So you have to reduce the denominator. So 1 by 4 will become 1 by 4 minus something. What is that something? The value given in the numerator. 1 by 4 will become 1 by 4 minus 1. 1 by 4 minus 1 is 1 by 3. 1 by 3 is what percentage? 33.33%. So your answer for this question, the second question there, should be 33.33%. Which means if A is 25% less than B, then B will be 33.33% more than A. So this is the SMART technique which you can apply and solve such questions in less than 5 seconds. Right? However, I would suggest that you follow these methods as well. Right? Don't forget the concept here. You can apply this always in the exam, but remember the concept because this is very important. This is just a technique, right? Concept is also important. So multiple ways of solving such questions is most convenient to you, and I'm sure you would like to go ahead with this technique there. Just practice on a few more questions and you'll get a good grip over this technique. Let us now take the second example from model 5 of percentages. The question here is, the sales of company N is 40% less than that of company T. By what percent is the sales of company T more than that of N? So quite similar to what we have done in example 1, right? It is just that N is 40% less than T. So by what percent is T more than N? And like we have discussed in example 1, such questions can be answered in multiple methods, right? 2 or 3 different methods. You can follow the one which is most convenient to you. So let us not discuss all the methods this time. We'll directly apply the SMART method, right? The third method that we have looked at in example 1, right? So let's see how do we answer this question. The first step is to look at the percentage, given percentage, which is 40%. 40% in terms of fraction is equal to 2 by 5. Now, by what percent is the sales of T more than that of N? We are looking for something more, which means we have to increase this fraction. How do you increase the fraction? You always have to work only on the denominator, never touch the numerator. So numerator remains as it is, 2 remains 2. The denominator has to be decreased. If you want the fraction to go up, the value to increase, the denominator should decrease. So 5 will be reduced. By how much? By the value given in the numerator. So numerator is equal to 2, so we'll make it as 2 by 5 minus 2. Now what is 5 minus 2? 3. So this becomes 2 by 3. That's it. 2 by 3 is what in terms of percentage? 66.66%. So your answer for this question has to be 66.66%, which means if n is 40% less than t, then t is 66.66% more than n. As simple as that.